No One Stays Hot Forever. Like, I'll be honest. I think this is my least favorite Drake album, and I am a Drake fan. You know, and I remember, listen, me and Joe have our differences, but I respect what Joe has done. And, you know, I know that he has a certain level of respect for me as well. My interviews get mentioned on some of his podcasts and everything else like that. But it's like, you know, Joe said that Drake was like threatening him in DMs. Crazy to me. You know, and I remember when Joe said something about Cardi, he didn't like the new song, Bongos, and she gets all mad. And he's like, well, don't talk about the one time I said something negative and not talk about the 500 times I said something positive. It's a very annoying thing to be in media because it's like, I'm not your PR. I am not going to just praise you on everything I fucking do. But if you look at my track record, I am not a hater. I'm not a hater of young, old, medium, middle-aged, whatever.
Well, sometimes it's a thin line, though. Like, these artists, they start reading into your critique and they think it's personal. Like, for example, Drake had hit me and he said, because I was criticizing, like, the direction of the album as well. And he hit me and he was like, yo, don't tell me, because the night of the album coming out, he called me the night before on stream and he said, yo, tomorrow when an album comes out, because I know you're going to be listening to it live, I'm going to call back into your stream. You know, obviously he got tied up with some stuff. He didn't call in. And I remember when he first hits me about my critique, he's like, yo, I hope you're not mad about, like, don't tell me you're mad over the fact that I didn't call in. So he's looking at my critique, which isn't personal.
Right. He put that on a story recently. Goes, you know, at one point we just got to accept that all these criticisms are really based on personal situations.
Yeah. But if you go to the Cardi B and Joe Budden thing, I think Cardi B probably looks at that situation and be like, well, yeah, it's fine if you say you don't like the song, but then you basically get personal and diminish my whole art. You're saying, oh, get the writer back. Oh, whatever. This ain't I think she probably was like, damn, so you're just saying, I'm just trash. You get what I mean? So I think that's where she goes at it. And I mean, he told me that about Joe. He said, listen, Joe could not like the music, but if Joe is going to say like, yo, why you're hanging with the little niggas and fucking the 25-year-old girls, you know what I mean? Like, nobody want to be described as like that old dude in the fucking Honda Civic just waiting outside the high school. like that's the creep. You feel me? So I think like he even seen a hint of that, and he's like, nah, let me check this shit right now. And I think you do become a little bit more sensitive to that as time goes on, right? Because that becomes something like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you know, my favorite diss of Nicki Minaj is call her old. You know why? She used to call people old. And for a lot of women, they use the age thing to validate. I always tell people, I'm so glad I'm in the media. Because I don't look at and say Vlad's old. I want to be Vlad's age and doing media at a high level. I want to be Howard Stern's age and doing media at a high level. That's amazing. But in hip hop, they'll shame you about age.
No, I remember what was it? At one point during the Grammys, I guess Nicki didn't get nominated, and no Grammy for Granny was tweeting. It was trending.
Yo, once they start putting that on you, they start looking at every situation you're in, and they start put a different context on it. Like, for example, there was an artist, and he rapped about it, Millie Bobby Brown. Apparently when she was like 14, I guess he may have texted her and was like, hey, listen, you're doing a good job type shit. Like, yo, strictly nothing weird. But when they start putting like, oh, this is the old man shit on you, it's like, why is this old man texting a child? These are kind of peers in the industry. It's not like it was inappropriate.
Yeah, man, listen, I remember when that little girl Jazzy started to pop.
Yeah.
I DM'd her and I said, listen, please tell your parents that, you know, congratulations on what you pulled off. You know, and if you ever want any advice, you know, please get your parent on the phone, and, you know, I'd be willing to share information. And I remember she responded, and her dad called.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? But you have to be very careful when dealing with underage people because you don't want to come off as that.
And like I'm gonna be honest, and I guess I'll say it here for the first time. That young lady, she's like 14. Mm-hmm. She's getting her feet wet in the media game. She's messaged me saying, hey, thank you for, you know, like repost or whatever. Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest with you, just based on the age disparity, I don't even want a motherfucker. Like, it's like, I just look at it, I'm like, let me click off of this thing. Because again, and I think that's why I think, you know, Drake is getting to that point where they're trying to put him in a box as, you know, remember when Jay-Z used to be like, yo, that's Grandpa Hove. Yeah. So like, I think people are starting to look at Drake as, yo, I know your nickname is the boy, but
You're no
at this
longer-
point, we're
you're
kind of saying like,
the middle-aged man.
you're the middle-aged man.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, the content of music, the content I think he likes to make is not middle-aged man type music.
No.
It's I'm still going through certain shit for the first time. I'm having a blast. And it's not necessarily age specific, but you know, that's kind of associated with usually younger people. So like, you know, like I even heard Joe Reed was like, yo, why are you chasing after a 21-year-old in the club? And it's like, and I'm like, yo, I'm pretty sure that's not even a real experience. Like Drake, you think Drake goes to the club like that and is like looking at girls?
No.
Like Drake goes to the club and everybody looks at him.